My honest opinion about Zenless Zone Zero's Deadly Assault. Here are gonna be, my honest thoughts about Zenless Zone Zero's latest endgame content, where we basically absolutely... Oh, okay, why is this not updated? I've said this a little bit in my previous video, which is how I killed Zahendo. How I managed to get a full kill on Bringer. I mentioned a little bit. But now that I've basically, quote-unquote, finished all 3 bosses with a slightly improved score, I wanted to see how, Airware is going to be performing on the second half, because, bro is going to be weak to ice, so we kind of ran this Airware team. I kind of want to see how Jane Doe, alright, Jane Doe is going to be performing with the middle half. I don't really have Lighter because I skipped his ass, got a Bernice and Lucy, and then the first half, hail me baba. I would say this 60k is honestly not easy, but if you guys actually managed to get it, congratulations, right? So here are my honest thoughts about Deadly Assault. People might be stressing a bit too much. This is gonna be used as a benchmark for restrictive progression. So what is restrictive progression? It is basically, if the devs were to say, okay, here is Deadly Assault, here are 3 different bosses, and let's see whether you have these 9 units. If you don't have these 9 units, you're not getting 9 stars. I think that has been a common sentiment, especially with the casual community or players that have been playing since 1.0, and all of a sudden they get ass fucked by version 1.4. Because let's remember, guys, back in version 1.0, a lot of sentiments for Zenless Zone Zero was that the combat is extremely easy. Alright, it is a brain dead fun button, press left click and win. And a lot of people share these sentiments. We literally defeated we defeated a couple blindfolded. Compared to the Zenless Zone Zero of 1.0, now I do believe that Deadly Assault, it is the probably one of, if not the only endgame content that Zenless Zone Zero have at the current moment that really is like the equivalent of a Wuthering Waves tactical hologram. It's not really about it being a difficult fight, because you are not getting one shot. It is more so about getting that 3 stars, right? The 20,000 within the time limit. 20,000 is not a kill. If you want to kill the boss, that's a completely separate thing. It is basically equivalent to a 0 cycle. Right? If you want to kill something that is above and beyond, is way above it. So I'm only strictly talking about getting the 3 stars. It is a mixture of both your mechanics check as well as your HP check. Fundamentally, when we log behind a 3-star to the points, and the points are going to be either through performance bonus or the damage score, it is definitely quote-unquote like a HP sponge, right? You need to deal this amount of damage within this amount of time to get this amount of scores, and then you get this amount of rewards. So it is a little bit of a HP sponge. On the flip side, it is also a little bit of the mechanics check, because they do offer you this performance bonus, right? So if you were to, for example, successfully inflict attribute anomaly, gives you 150 performance bonus. If you interrupt Bringer when he's channeling his hand and being a fucking bitch, 2,000 points, right? And a Marionette, if you were to, destroy a dance partner, 200 points. So there are a little bit of nuance here where if you know the mechanics of how this boss is going to be performing, you can get a little bit of a bump. I wouldn't say this bump it will change everything, but out of maybe the max 5,000, even if you get half, it is around a 10% bump up, right? Around a 10% bump up. The thing with this is, I think not a lot of players would be able to 3-star this right now. People might get the wrong impression that not 3-starring something in this is very, very bad for a Hoyoverse game. Because it's like, if all of a sudden Honkai Starbucks version 2.0 with Aircron release, you couldn't 3-star Memory of Chaos 12. Oh, people are gonna be so fucking angry. Holy Aircron Powercreep. Or like if Nervlet came out in Genshin Impact, you guys couldn't 3-star Spiral Abyss. Alright? I'm not sure if a lot of people can 3-star all 3 stages. But one important thing to note is, you actually do get max rewards at 6 stars. Everything here, technically speaking, it is above and beyond. I'm not sure if you would classify this as the max rewards, but if you only talk about Polychrome, the max reward is 6 stars. Either with a 330 or a 222. So if we do a 222, I feel that 14,000 points is actually a lot more feasible compared to 20,000 points, especially if you're running old teams such as, for example, the Airware, right? 14,000 points, even for a tourist like myself. And everybody here is basically, I believe it's E0S0. Airware does have her signature. Caesar King has her, whatchamacallit, Spring Embrace. I'm dead. And Lycon was basically running a Coletta. Oh, I took away Lycon's energy. Yeah, I took away Lycon's energy piece for my Bernice or my Lucy, right? So yeah, she was running 4+2, right? So not very heavy investment. I don't know if 14,000 is still considered like too steep of an ask. If 14,000 for 3 stages is too steep, and this is assuming you guys put for Miyabi, I think getting 20k for Miyabi here is completely achievable. Or maybe I'm just super out of touch, right? For 20k Miyabi, I think that's very achievable. So it's really like a 3-1-1. If it's gonna, 3-2-1, right? If it's gonna be a 3-2-1, it'll be like a 6,000 points and a 14,000 point clip. It's not to the point where, oh my god, this game is unplayable. This game is power creep. This game has too much. Oh my god, Miyabi power. I think it's not that bad. That is for the current Deadly Assault. 14k is very doable. You are not out of touch. Thank you, Sarah. Hail, Sarah. All right. But my flip side is this: the disparity is something that I'm more concerned with, instead of whether or not a player can get quote-unquote max rewards, which is gonna be, in my opinion, 6 stars. I think the disparity is actually a little bit more of a concern for myself. Hoyo Shield, by the way. Not sponsored by Kurobots. Hoyo Shield, by the way. Because the disparity between a brand new team that is Mibaba and the old teams, you know, if you want to talk about Airware, the disparity, the differential in power level is quite large. I do believe that aside from an M6 team, Miyabi is probably the only unit that can like comfortably get in, maybe not even comfortably, that can potentially push for a extremely good score. If I were to run, for example, Caesar King here, right? Let's just say I run Caesar King here instead of a Lucy, slot this bada bitch back in, Caesar King, Bernice, and Jane Doe. There is 3 different S rank agents. I do have a signature weapon on Jane Doe. Bernice and Caesar King were just running relatable stuff. I don't think I would be performing close to what my Miyabi has to offer. That would be my main concern. Because this is just the first of the many deadly assaults in the future. And we can see this kind of stuff happening quite commonly, not just in Zenless Zone Zero. So for example, if we want to talk about Honkai Starbucks, we had Aircron, and then we had Aircron with Jiao Chiu. We have Fei Xiao, which just completely broke the power balance for a while. And in the future, we're getting Summon Meta. Genshin Impact, I don't play it that much, but apparently Nervlet changed everything. Before Nervlet, it was like here, and then Nervlet's like boom, here, right? Even Watering Waves, there was a day before Changli, there was a day before Jingxi. And then there was a day after Jingxi. And now it's like Camellia. So I think these kind of stuff, like a huge spike in terms of disparity between a brand new DPS to like an older DPS, I don't think it's that uncommon. I just think that for Zenless Zone Zero, we are getting Astra Yao and Evelyn next patch, a support and a DPS. It makes me wonder, how would they make old units more relevant? That is my biggest question, because the disparity is already there between like old units and new units. So for example, Jingyuan, he was like benched for like so long, and then Sunday came back, boom, all of a sudden he's tier 0.5. I think that was a exceptionally well played revival for Jingyuan. But I do wonder if Zenless Zone Zero can come back up with the ability of introducing new units that can also revitalize old units at the same time. That would be really good for the game. And it also kind of cements my point of having synergies, unit synergies with one another, where like this unit will drastically make this other unit perform better. I think it's good. I don't think that players should pull for every single unit, but players should know more or less what are they building towards. Because if a brand new unit just works with every single unit, then the newer units will forever be stronger than the older units. You get what I'm saying? is like, for example, if you introduce a brand new unit and it increases our team's performance by like 20% across the board for every single team, then your new unit will still be, like, rather your new DPS, it will still be 20% better than like no DPS, or like by whatever margin it is. But if we were to introduce a unit that works better with older units, so let's just say this new support, it buffs your new DPS by like 20%, but it buffs your old DPS by like 80%. The new unit is strictly a much better power increase for that old unit. And I do believe that is good for the game. Deadly Assault, this game mode, I feel that it will highlight how Zenless Zone Zero will go about balancing these power dynamics between the different classes of DPS. Because basically right now, for the longest time before Miyabi came out, it has always been like disorder, right? Yeah, Jane Doe and Bernice just completely shit on all of the previous crit DPS. And then now Miyabi is out, Miyabi is like here, and everyone else just went down. So I do want to see how can we introduce new units that can not say introduce power creep every single patch, but trying to make other units more synergistic with one another. I think that would be very, very nice. And what better way to introduce this than a content with 3 different bosses, which means you do need to use 3 separate teams, right? I think that would be my closing thoughts for this. In conclusion, I think Daily Assault is very fun. I think it's very rewarding. I think players shouldn't have the expectations of getting 9 stars, because frankly speaking, 6 stars is basically all you need. But it definitely also highlights the power disparity between newer units and older units. These are gonna be my thoughts. And with that, we have come to the end of this interesting discussion video. I want to know what you guys are thinking about Zenless Zone Zero brand new endgame challenge. Shield defense, we all know it. It's a joke at this point. Miyabi just kills everything. So Daily Assault is basically where it's gonna be at. And I do think that it will be the front line to validate players' opinions as well as the community's power rankings for each of the different units, right? So that's gonna be that. Word of the day is gonna be use code Pokke for 10% off. Use code Pokke for 10% off. Use code Pokke for 10% off. Hail gamer subs. Hail gamer subs. Hail gamer subs. Padulu. Use code Pokke 10% off. Thank you gamers for giving us this absolutely wonderful Christmas present at the time of this recording, right? So that's gonna be that. Join Twitch, join YouTube, join Discord, join Twitter, all the best. See you guys next time. Bye.